The Weaver of Algorithms, A Journey with Misaki. Misaki stood in the center of her sun-drenched studio, where the scent of old paper met the hum of new light. She believed that stories were not just told but woven, much like the intricate patterns of a traditional loom. Long ago, the visionary Ada Lovelace had imagined a machine that might one day weave algebraic patterns as beautiful as any tapestry. Misaki turned to her guest, Kale, and gestured toward the glowing screen on the wooden desk. To create, she explained, one must first understand that technology is merely a faster needle for the same human thread. Every journey begins with an invitation, Misaki whispered, inviting Kale to sit. She noted that the shortest distance between two people is always a story, and today they would build one together. Misaki guided Kale's hand to the keyboard. She told him to open a blank chat interface, the modern-day digital canvas. The first step is to state your intent clearly, she said. Type a sentence that tells the machine exactly what you want to build, perhaps a fable about a clockmaker who could freeze time. Misaki watched as the cursor blinked, a rhythmic heartbeat of possibility. She explained that for the machine to be a good partner, it needed a persona, a role to inhabit. Just as a chef knows the kitchen, the algorithm needs to know its craft, she told Kale. She instructed him to tell the AI, "You are a master storyteller with a penchant for whimsical details and gentle lessons." By defining the character of the weaver, the quality of the silk improves. As the first lines of text appeared, Misaki shared a reflection on the nature of wisdom. She told Kale that clarity is a form of kindness, not just for people, but for the tools we use. To deepen the story, she suggested adding context. "Tell the machine about the clockmaker's world," she prompted. "Describe the sounds of the ticking gears and the smell of the oil." Kale typed these details, watching as the narrative grew more vivid, transforming from a simple sketch into a colored painting. Misaki paused, recalling how early weavers used punch cards to automate their designs, a direct ancestor to the code they use now. She explained that the machine does not know the story. It predicts the most likely next word based on the vast library of human history it has studied. "It is a mirror of us," she mused. She then coached Kale to set a constraint to keep the story focused. "Ask it to keep the chapter under 300 words, she said, "for boundaries often set creativity free." The story flowed, but it wasn't yet perfect. Misaki smiled, explaining that the first draft is merely the clay, not the sculpture. She encouraged Kale to iterate. If a paragraph feels too cold, ask the weaver to rewrite it with more warmth and emotion, she suggested. This process of refinement is where the human heart meets the digital mind. They spent a moment adjusting the pacing, asking the AI to slow down the moment when the clockmaker finally stops the world. To make the story truly linger, Misaki suggested a secret technique, the inclusion of sensory contrasts. She told Kale to ask the AI to describe the silence of the frozen world compared to the thunderous heartbeat of the clockmaker. "Science tells us that our brains react to sensory descriptions, as if we are experiencing them ourselves," she noted. As Kale added the prompt, the text on the screen seemed to vibrate with new life, pulling the reader deeper into the clockmaker's workshop. "Now we must mend the fray," Misaki said softly. She explained that even the most advanced weaver can make a mistake, creating hallucinations or illogical turns. She had Kale read the story aloud, looking for any sentence that felt unnatural. Together, they edited the final paragraph by hand, ensuring the moral of the story, that time is only valuable because it passes, was delivered with a human touch. The journey was nearly complete. Misaki looked at the finished work and reflected on the cultural shift they were witnessing. AI, storytelling was not a replacement for the soul, but a new way to amplify it, allowing anyone with a spark of an idea to see it catch fire. She reminded Kale that throughout history, every new tool, from the printing press to the camera, was met with fear before it became a vehicle for art. As Kyle prepared to leave, Misaki handed him a small, physical printout of their creation. "We are all weavers of our own algorithms," she said with a final, lingering thought. "The prompts we give the world are the lives we eventually lead. Be intentional with your words, for they are the threads that bind your reality together." Cale walked out into the bright afternoon, feeling not like a user of a machine, but a master of a new craft.